you see this and I see it, where you have owner managers taking out their dividends. They then get their personal tax bill. And then they turn around and go, well, I need to take dividends because I've now got a personal tax bill to pay. And then you go, okay, but you do realise you're now going to pay tax on your drawings to pay your tax. And they're like, right. And I was like, can you not see that we're now compounding the problem and that whatever dividend, because you're still going to want to take the same amount of dividends, but now you're taking this extra lump in order to smooth the lump of personal tax.
Exactly that.
So each year you're going to get slightly lumpier. And at what point does this stop? And at what point do you not take your dividends and go, actually, I need to put a percentage of this away because this actually isn't mine, this is tax?
Yeah. We see that a huge amount.
I bet.
It's a really, really common thing that we see. Because like you say, I suppose they haven't had the foresight to put the money away for the personal tax, get the tax bill. And I would say at the start of trading, obviously when you're paying your income tax, you're actually paying 2 years worth of income tax.
Yes.
So if you haven't had that proper planning from the start, then suddenly you get hit with this huge tax bill because you've thought, okay, well, I'm going to pay tax on my dividends at 8.75% if I've only taken the sort of the basic rate band of income. But oh gosh, now I've got 2 years because I'm paying on advance for the next year. So we do see that as well sometimes and it's not normally clients that we've actually set up, but they've maybe traded a year into their second year, just done a personal tax return and then been like, well, my accountant didn't tell me this. I didn't know I was going to have this tax. So I've had to take it out of the company to pay it. And that's where it then starts this sort of snowballing effect of having to take your personal tax money out of the company, then having to declare more dividends the following year to cover that, then getting a bigger tax bill to cover that, then having to take that money out of the company. And it just keeps going on and on. And I think the answer sometimes with this is just poor planning from day one and not being advised how to properly actually keep some of that money back to pay your personal tax. It doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes it's just things have happened throughout the year. You could be 10 years into a company and you're in this situation for different reasons, but good planning can really help with that, I think.
And do you ever have owner managers come to you and actually say, what should I be taking?
Yes, we do.
Do you?
We do. No, we do. I was
so
just
glad
thinking
to hear that.
Do it? No, we do. And obviously they're probably the clients that you've got more contact with that are a little bit more switched on, I suppose, because they're the ones that are actually have the foresight to think ahead and to think there probably is a right and a wrong answer to this rather than I can take whatever I think, whatever's in the bank, that there is a right and a wrong answer to it. So we do get that. And then I think it's great because you can sit with them and you can actually plan out and give them an idea of what their personal tax will be if that's the level they're going to take. Have a look at the profit in the company, make sure that, okay, it looks like we're at a level where that's going to be okay. You can pay the corporation tax, we can cover the dividends. So those are kind of the perfect clients, really, I would say, Emma.
I think
it doesn't always happen, but they are great.
I haven't yet to have a client actually ask me what their dividends should or maybe possibly look like. But I do have a number of conscientious people that don't take any dividends during the year and then wait till they've got their stat accounts and then almost ask for permission of what they're allowed.
Yeah, we have some.
And I always think that is such a beautiful way of working. The fact that
how much money have I made?
Exactly. How much have I made? How much should I take? And what's the right balance between reinvesting back in the business and also looking after, my own, interests, because it can be highly rewarding owning your own business. It can also be quite the opposite, especially when things aren't going the way you want them to. So I always think it's quite interesting that watching lots of different people psychologically navigate the world of dividends and how money means so many different things to people.
Yeah, no, I think you're definitely right. And I think it's quite confusing in a way, isn't it? You start your own company. The first thing I always say to my clients is, remember, you and your company are two different
separate
entities.
People.
Separate people. You are not your company and your company is not you.
Yes.
You're separate. It's not like perhaps if they were a sole trader who's incorporated, they've had that mindset, well, they are the business.
Yeah.
So I think, first of all, that's a really key thing to get across to people, because then people understand that they're paying money from the business to them, and they can also sort of start to understand about how it works in terms of, is there enough profit in the company to pay these dividends, because they are not the business. I just think understanding that really key bit of information really helps make sense of everything from there.